Hey everyone, Evan Kirstel here with Rich Tarani of IT Expo and TMC. Rich, how are you?
Doing great, Evan. How are you?
It's Friday. We made it. I'm doing fine. And we're going to talk about the hottest topic in tech these days, AI, specifically generative AI, otherwise known as a product service you may have seen out there, ChatGPT. Rich, have you been playing with ChatGPT and generative AI tools?
I'm one of the many that has a dedicated tab to ChatGPT on my computer. And the answer is yeah, I use it probably at least once or twice a day. And, I've just been hearing from people, family members, college students that, they say things like, I don't know how I got around without it before. Like, what did we do before we had it? Right. It's ingrained into our work life and our school life, etc.
Yeah, in fact, it's one of the fastest growing applications, services ever launched. It's not even in production per se, but 1 million people have signed up to use ChatGPT in just from 5 days of launch, which beats Instagram, beats all the social media networks. So something is really catching our imagination and attention. But before we go into details, maybe definitionally, let's talk about what it is because it's not just ChatGPT, which is text based, right? I mean, it's the use of AI techniques to generate text, but also images. If you've ever played with Dolly, it's a fascinating and really fun and interesting way to create imagery based on text prompts and videos. It's now possible through multiple tools to create video content. So this is really going to change the business of content creation forever. What do you think?
100% right. And it's why we launched Generative AI Expo, which will be at the upcoming IT Expo Tech Super Show in Fort Lauderdale, February 14th through the 16th are the dates. And we're really excited about it. We're actually this is today. We're announcing it officially, and we're looking for thought leaders, speakers that have expertise in this space, and can help add value. I mean, it's interesting to me. I think the best analogy that I have for what this generative AI trend is for companies is that if you don't ride atop it and learn about it and
Mm.
become a master of it, you will get run over by it. Uh, I I put a poll out on LinkedIn and I asked people how many, and it was obviously my followers. It was an official poll. But it was about 100 respondents. How many people think that in the next few years that generative AI will dramatically change their business? And it was 65% said that it will dramatically change their business. And how many? I mean, just who would have said that 2 months ago or 3 months ago? It would have been probably zero, and now it's gone from 0 to 65%. And like you said, the concept is so big that the fundamental change in every business is going to be so great. And if you're not at 65%, that means that even if you're not doing it, if you're not going to embrace it, your competition more than likely is. So that means that either you're directly affected by it in your company, or your competitor is going to make sure that in the industry that you compete in, that you're going to be affected by it. So you have no choice but to not only embrace it, develop expertise. And we just talked about off camera a moment ago that, obviously their jobs are going to change dramatically. But I liken AI, at least in my optimism, that it's going to be a lot like something like maybe Microsoft Excel. Microsoft Excel theoretically has killed tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of accounting jobs. But if you look at the number of accountants that are hired every year, it continues to grow, and it has for 20 plus years. And the reason is that something greater is happening fundamentally. When we get these new technologies and these new tools that make us more productive, more companies can start, and they can start less expensively. And so you have more products and services to help fuel the economy. So it actually is, it's good and it's bad, right? There's going to be less menial work, less manual labor. Whether that's good or bad, I mean, it's up for the viewer can decide. But in a way, that's good, right? Excel keeps us from having a pencil and the paper and having to do things manually, and it allows higher value work. So really, AI is going to allow higher value work, and there's an entire career now called prompt engineer that is just starting out. And I mean, we're going to explore things like prompt engineer. We're going to explore things like the latest generative AI tools on the market. How can companies become more productive and efficient? I was on a call just 2 hours ago with someone who was looking to work with TMC to purchase advertising services from us, marketing services from us. And they said, I want to warn you, our typical turnaround time for a contract is 6 months. If we expedite it, it's 3 months. And I just thought to myself, how did we get into this situation where and it's not unusual. I'm hearing it more and more from my sales team. It can take months to get contracts approved. And I know that there are AI solutions to this, and AI will eventually help. And obviously there are companies, for whatever reason, either they're not hiring enough lawyers or whatever, there aren't enough, whatever it is. And it's a bottleneck and it's reducing efficiency. So that's just one area where, imagine if you apply AI to reading the contracts, and at least for basic problems, level 1 problems, it can go through and find them. And then now the legal team will have less to deal with when they finally look at the contract and give their final approval or blessing. So I know it was a long explanation, but we're really excited about this. So if you're an expert in the field, you are a thought leader in AI, generative AI, we'd love to hear from you. Go to generativeAIexpo.com. Submit a call for papers. If you want to sponsor, that's great. We'd love to hear from you. We don't have much time, right? We've only got a few weeks.
Yeah, well, time is of the essence. And this is a great fit for IT Expo because you have tracks on the future of work, on collaboration, on CX. I have a session on marketing, which is, of course, is all content driven. So what a good way to kind of follow all these threads and bring them together. And it's interesting you raised the Microsoft angle because I was actually using ChatGPT to take some bullet points and create a PowerPoint. ChatGPT will create the code for the PowerPoint based on a blog or text, and you can upload that code to PowerPoint and basically do a fantastic presentation in like 10 minutes. It used to take hours of work to create a PowerPoint in high quality. And, the space is really interesting. It's not just, OpenAI, it's not just Microsoft, but there are a whole, industry of upcoming players, emerging players in this space. There are text-based tools for marketing. I use Jasper AI. It's really a cool content creation tool. There are AI assistants. There's, tech support, chatbots. Obviously, we talked about video content creation, video editing, code creation, co-creation, speech recognition. I mean, this is a whole emerging and exciting area, right? And that must be of interest to you as an investment banker because lots of interesting startups and companies to fund in this space, which is a kind of big bright spot in a pretty dismal tech market this year.
Yes, yes to all of the above. Yeah, it's very exciting. I actually do have a client in the space, and I'm really happy about the generative AI space in general. And I think I'm excited. Just the technology side of me really gets pumped whenever there's disruption in the market because disruption it breeds tons of opportunity, and it shakes up markets. The complacent players. Right now the biggest challenge seems to be Google. Google's going to have to deal with this competition that gives answers that are, for the most part, accurate on the first try, without the need for a user to scroll through pages of ad-laden links. And so that's a sea change for the search engine market. And as OpenAI and ChatGPT gets embedded into Microsoft Office, as it will, the user no longer has to leave their environment, Microsoft Word, wherever they are, to go now to Google and do a search. And that is obviously, it's a change in the way you work, and it's a change to the business model of Google. Like I don't anticipate it's going to be an immediate challenge to the search engine leader, but over time, it does present potential for pain at Google, especially if Bing starts to integrate more of Chat GPT. Now people might start using Bing more, and it's obviously great for Microsoft. And we're
Yeah,
focusing.
Microsoft's an investor. It's running on Azure Cloud, which is good for the cloud business, and it's good for the productivity business. Um, and some people would argue with you on its accuracy. It's been known to make up answers, but of course, what this platform does is learn. It learns through interaction and content. It learns through feedback, and so that feedback loop will get stronger and stronger over time. Already, ChatGPT, GPT-3 produce what one commentator I read said an A minus essay. So this is the kind of thing I could
Well,
have
it's
used in
passed the
college.
bar. It's passed the bar. It's passed medical exams, and it's passed. I think an MBA. It had a passing grade on MBA. So far, it's on par with, I guess, maybe a B or an A minus college student or graduate student, or whatever, however you define some of these things that is passed. So it's pretty darn good now, and it's only going to get better, right? And then what you're referring to is also AI in general has something called hallucinations, and hallucinations are when it makes stuff up by accident, not by accident. It just part of the way AI works, and you have to tune to get rid of the hallucination. So it is an issue with AI in general, and it's just
Well,
something.
I try not to hallucinate unless there are third substances involved that enable that. But yes, hallucinations are an issue. There's bias is an issue. So there are a lot of things to work through. In the meantime, we're all getting our hands dirty with the platform, and I find it interesting as a networking and telecom guy. It's going to turbo boost the storage, the networking, the cloud market. Given all the different use cases, it could be rocket fuel for our tech space, which is much needed.
I agree, and it's also if you think about all the data, what is it that makes ChatGPT so amazing, or any generative AI? It's having an archive of data to be trained upon. And
Mm-hmm.
so telecom, if we don't have archives of data, we have nothing, right? Cloud, telecom, it's all data. And so once you find a way to apply intelligence to it, and you can find brand new ways to monetize your calls within your organization, the data within your organization that's based on phone calls, on customer interactions, just your reams and reams of cloud storage to go through there through contracts and other documents that you have there, and just ferret out new information, and how do you extract value from literally the stores of information that every company has. And that's what I think is the most exciting thing when it applies to what you just said, right? Telecom and datacom, the IT space, we have massive stores of data. Now the fun part is, how do we extract money from it, revenue from it, business insight from it? And business intelligence is obviously not a new concept, but the AI has gotten so much better. Machine learning is so much better than it was, that we are going to get to new frontiers. The companies that lead are going to have a tremendous head start here, and the ones that miss this are going to potentially be put out of business, just because they're not going to see the insights that are there for them within their own data.
Yeah, it's a great point. And people focus on the disruption, and there will be disruption. Writers, copywriters, for example, but you want to be that copywriter with ChatGPT skills, not the copywriter without ChatGPT skills. So, really interesting opportunity, and also really excited just to attend IT Expo and the AI generative AI event. I know it's getting close to the event, a couple weeks left, but there's still time to attend. There's still time to sponsor. There's still time to present. Tech, we work in real time, right? So short notice isn't a problem, and of course, all in the Florida sunshine. How cool is that?
It's great. And flights, last time I checked, which was 3 or 4 days ago, flights were inexpensive from from pretty much all over the country. I have a client coming from Israel who was telling me that they bought. Well, actually, it was on one of our prior video podcasts, I think. Right?
Mhm.
It was they said that maybe he told us right off camera, but he's buying 2 tickets from Israel to South Florida for less than the price that he used to pay for one. So for whatever reason, the ticket prices are still very reasonable to get
Yeah, I
down to
noticed
Florida.
that. I've the event is kind of 4+ days. I'm happy to stay 10. So I'm really excited for IT Expo, and I'll see you there, Rich. And thanks for the update.
Thank you, Evan.
Take care, everyone.